Hello and welcome to episode 1 of the New Dawn of Credit video series. I'm Andrew Davison, SVP and Chief Insights Officer for Comperemedia.
And I'm Mark Miller, Associate Director of Insights for Payments at Comperemedia.
In this 3-part video series, we'll be looking at credit marketing trends and discussing what it all means. First, let's talk about digital marketing spend for credit cards. And to do that, I'm actually going to jump onto Comperemedia Omni. Okay, so if you recall, digital marketing spend for credit cards fell off a cliff back in April, but since the summer, it's recovered. And actually, you can see that this recovery in online display, online video, and paid Facebook. But let's break it down. And I'll click off paid Facebook and online video so that you can just see display and look at display. Not only has it recovered from pre-pandemic levels, but it's also up from a year ago. But if I add back in paid Facebook and video, you can see that all of these 3 digital channels are up, but it's really display that's leading the way. And of course, if you think about it, consumers were stuck at home. They're online, breaking all sorts of spending records in the run up to the holidays. So it really seems like display was the channel of the moment. Mark, what do you think?
Yeah, exactly. And when we think of it from that channel perspective, display and also paid Facebook can be included in here, but display in particular, certainly has an advantage as a much more agile digital marketing channel. So, unlike direct mail, where there's a significant lag, before people actually receive the offer in the mail, or TV or video, which often require a much higher level of planning and production, display ads are able to quickly respond to a rapidly changing environment, which of course is what we saw in 2020.
I thought what was also interesting about this trend is if you dig in and you look at some of those display ads, a lot of them are for sort of pre-qualification, those types of ads where you can like check for offers without impacting your credit score. So it does suggest, actually, yes, a big increase in digital advertising, but a more cautious approach because it allows consumers to check for offers without impacting their credit score. Okay, so let's switch over to to direct marketing. And yes, I do mean direct mail. Of course, the US Postal Service was really impacted with so many packages being mailed in the run up to the holidays. I was just actually heard that my Christmas card arrived in the UK just a couple of days ago, even though it was sent mid-December. So let's see what's going on there.
Yeah, so the view we're looking at here is estimated volume of acquisition mailings for credit cards as well as personal loans. And we can see here, looking back, Q1 looked pretty stable, then kind of started to fall off in April, and then really bottomed out in May and June. And if we compare this to the digital marketing that we saw before, you'll notice that digital reacted much more quickly. So spend levels kind of started dropping off significantly in April. We actually saw, some reductions happening in mid-March, right, as the pandemic was taking hold. So, much quicker response here. Direct mail definitely lags a bit. But, from that low point in Q2, where, we actually saw in June, personal loan offers, uncharacteristically exceeded credit card offers, which is something pretty surprising. But from that really bottoming out period, we did observe a rebound, especially with credit cards in Q4. And while, we're not quite back to the volumes that we would expect to see, the heightened activity does point to a return to a more stable environment.
I agree. It certainly does point to a return to a more stable environment. Interesting, though, that we've seen effectively it sort of leveling off. I mean, if you sort of take away actually offers for the Amex Hilton card, it's effectively flat October, November, and December, which of course does bring in that sort of narrative around uncertainty around the broader economic environment. And then if you looking at that personal loans number, very interesting, of course, notable because of the current credit environment. And the sort of lack of demand for credit. So, lenders certainly remaining cautious through the end of the year.
Yeah, and it's also worth pointing out, I think, when we are comparing the recoveries of credit cards and personal loans, that credit cards were able to reinvent their value propositions, quite significantly in 2020 around everyday spending, also more pandemic-friendly rewards categories. So, unlike cards, personal loans have much less flexibility to kind of change the construction of their product, and tended to remain focused on high dollar debt consolidation.
All right, any final thoughts?
Yeah, I'm excited for the year ahead. We saw a lot of innovation in both product and marketing in 2020. And while spend and volumes may not return to the previous levels for some time, and let's be honest, if ever, they might not ever get to those previous levels. But I do expect creditors to have identified best practices over the last year, and have a good plans in place to produce a more robust, consistent message in 2021.
Yeah, I share that sentiment. I was encouraged by a line in the Chase Q4 20 earnings deck related to marketing investment, which just said normalization follows 2020 dip. So I thought that was encouraging, and I remain cautiously optimistic. But we'll see. We'll see what happens in the months ahead. Thanks for watching. Reach out to us at Comperemedia if you have any questions. See you next time.